Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is V, and to all my returning subbies, I love you all so much. Thank you for staying subscribed, all 108 of you, and welcome to the new subbies but whom that have subscribed. I see the channel is growing slowly but surely. Road to 150 subscribers. Let's get us there, guys. And to anybody watching this for the first time, welcome. Share. This is home. Don't be scared. This is a safe space. And please comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe, share, tell your friends about this piece. I don't believe, guys. I don't believe it. Even new subbies share, promote me. I can really love me. But anyway, guys, today's topic is see people for who they are. So I'm just in this era where I don't overlook people anymore, and I don't overlook too much of a person anymore. I see them for exactly what they are. I don't base people off of potential, off of my projections. Obviously, like at the beginning of all your relationships with people, you see them for the potential that you see where your relationship is going, for the future that you think your relationship with that person is going to have. That's why we see people for their potential, right? But when you see someone for who they are, you put potential aside and see them. And I do this intentionally, so not after something happens, because that's often what we do. We see people for who they are after they've done something to us. Oh, did she just throw shade at me? Oh, did she just do this? Now I'm gonna start analyzing this person properly, because what did they mean when they said this? So I think it is very important to see people for who they are at the beginning, so that you don't fall in love with potential, and you watch who they are, and their ambitions and your ambitions coming together will grow the potential on its own, organically and naturally, not in your head. So the first thing I would love to say is, do not be delusional. In a way, seeing a person for the potential, seeing a person for what you want them to be, or what your projections or what your image of that person is supposed to be, is you being delusional. Or let me not say you, it's us being delusional. We are so delusional. We delude ourselves into being around people because of what they could potentially bring into our lives, or I don't know. So don't be delusional. In case anyone doesn't know, what does delusion mean? What does to be delusional mean? Being delusional means holding firm, fixed beliefs that are completely unsupported by reality or contradictory or obvious facts. It involves deceiving oneself with unrealistic thoughts that persist even when presented with logical proof of the contrary. So an example of being delusional is me saying, "Oh, guys, when I get one paid at the end of the month, I'm gonna buy KFC, and then I'm gonna buy McDonald's, and I'm gonna do all these things." And then when the money comes, you don't do all those things. The craving for KFC is not there anymore, or that list that you wrote, you don't really go back at it anymore. You were just being delusional about what you want when you're gonna see when that money comes. And sometimes, what if the money doesn't come? Maybe you're expecting money from someone and you're planning for it, and you start making thoughts, creating stories in your head about what you're gonna do with that money. Then the money arrives. Then something else takes the money away. That's a simple way of explaining what being delusional is. I hope you understand. So If you want to see people clearly, be aware of these two forms of expectation and carefully observe how they are influencing the way you perceive others to be. The first one is the live up to my expectations expectation. I'm gonna put them right here. Ne? The live up to my expectations expectation is that there are rules, guidelines, and key performance indicators that we place on others according to how we have experienced the world and how we believe the world should be. You will know if you carry these expectations because you will feel disappointed by someone around you or feel the need to nag, judge, and control. These expectations can be over power trips, or they can be cunningly disguised as good intentions. Be careful of trying to change someone, lift their standards, or meddle in their lives without their permission. That is, all these meddling things that we are doing are based on your expectations of who you want them to be. So when you are not seeing someone for who they are, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's you being delusional and projecting your feelings, right? You're projecting how you want that person to be like. You want to control the relationship you have with a person by kind of molding and shaping and controlling how you and that person's relationship is going to be like. For example, with friends, you want your friend to get a job, you bombarding them with job applications, even the ones that they don't qualify for, because I want her to get a job, I want her to do that. Sometimes it's off of good intentions doing that, but sometimes it's also projection that I want them to get a job, I want them to make money, I want them, sometimes you are pushing someone who doesn't need that kind of a push. Sometimes a person is in university and wants to focus on university only, or they're taking a gap year when you are sending them job, so that is kind of being that live up to my expectation kind of person. Or when you want someone to do things that you want to do only, when you want them to dress how you want them to dress, when you want them to be how you want them to be, so you are mostly so controlling in that relationship. That is the live up to my expectation type of not seeing a person for the way they are supposed to be, for who they truly are. And sometimes when you do that, you're making that person act unintentionally. You're making that person act how you want them to act. So they mold themselves into that. They know that when I'm with V, I'm like this because V likes me to be like this. And sometimes they can see that you are doing that. You are trying to make them according to how you want them to be. Or sometimes they just morph into that character when they're specifically with you. So I hope I explained that well. One is the perpetually rose-colored expectation. The perpetually rose-colored expectation is that these are the subtle expectations that we carry in our relationship with others, the preconceived ideas that can often blind us into the reality of the situation and help us excuse destructive, hurtful, or unhealthy behavior. You will know if you carry these kinds of expectations because you will find yourself regularly forgiving behavior of another person or justifying their actions for yourself or others. So this rose-colored one is the delusional part of not seeing someone for who they are. You justify, you make excuses as to why someone is treating you the way they are treating you, why someone is being the way that they are, because you think that they could do better and they could be better in the future. We always do this in friendships, relationships, family, everything, any kind of relationship. There is a point where you kind of feel like, okay, maybe for example when you're in a relationship, it's still new, so therefore because it's still new, he's going to buy me roses, he's going to take me out, he's going to do this for me, let me just sit it out and see what could happen. That's being rose colored. That's projecting, that's creating delusions in your mind of what could happen in the future if you stay friends or if you stay in a relationship with this type of person. But the only thing that you receive from that type of expectation from someone is that they will keep disappointing you, as they have been doing from the jump, and there is nothing you can do about that. The delusions prolong the relationship, but once it ends, and you're no longer delusional, you'll realize that actually this person was never going to be the person that I expected them to be for me. So that is how you see people for who they are. That is how you navigate doing it at the beginning. Like, I have really truly learned how to see a person and accept them for them without having ideas and preconceived notions of who they could be or what they could be to me, or molding and shaping a person and trying to make them a better person, because when we do that, we kind of prolong having toxic people in our lives, and that's not what we want for ourselves now, is it? So watch out for all those things, guys. Watch out for the the two expectations, which is the live up to my expectation type of not seeing a person for who they are, and the perpetually rose colored one. And then the next part is that to see a person in a more objective view, you can follow some of these approaches. Watch consistent patterns, not isolated incidents. Pay attention to how they allocate their resources of time, attention across various situations. A person's true character is found in their habits and not in occasional grand gestures or defensive words. So observation is very important. Okay, observe. There's a video, I don't know if it's still on my channel, of reflecting. Reflect on the people around you that you bring in your life. Observe them around other people. Observe them when you two are alone. Give yourself time to see them. Give yourself time to also, if you are at a point where you never really saw, you are delusional about a person, and they did something that rubbed you off the wrong way, and you're starting to realize, make a list and be like, okay, I've observed this, I've noticed this, and the second one is observe behavior under pressure. Notice how they handle stress, impatience, or a crisis. True emotional regulation and core values are tested when things don't go their way. And there are some people that crash out there. And when they crash out, they become very hurtful. They become very toxic. They become very negative when things don't go their way. They don't want other people to be happy when they are not happy. So like I said before, on the watch consistent patterns and not isolated incidents. Observe, like when it says observe behavior under pressure. Even when you're not under pressure, observe a person when they are happy, when they are sad. Anyhow, don't just observe for specific things only. That's about it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you on the next one. Bye.